everyone, Sean McGuire here with Dustin Walker from New Vision Counseling and Consulting. And today we're going to talk about what relieves anxiety fast. Dustin just wrote a blog to try to help people out to determine, what anxiety is and then really jump into how to handle it. And he really debunked one big myth. I'm not sure we'll get to it in this video, but I hope we do, that I think a lot of us hold about certainty. We'll see how far we get, but listen up. Dustin's going to drop some pearls of wisdom. So tell us about how you would work with somebody if they came to you for anxiety, and really specifically what you talked about in that blog you wrote.
So I think it's very important to distinguish the type of anxiety, okay? Because a lot of people come in and they've got something coming up and they're stressed. All right.
Right.
Well, anxiety that I'm talking about is the worry that happens that just feels, okay, you don't know, can't control the environment 100% of the time. Your kids go to school.
Yeah.
Your husband goes to work. And so we have to identify, is that the kind of worry we're talking about? Or are we worried about a potential consequence for something that's coming up in the future? So that's one of the first things.
That's okay. So identify the type of worry that you're going through. Okay. Then what?
Well, then, I listen for like the self-taught part of it. I think that's very important because how you talk about it makes a huge difference.
How do you talk about it to yourself? Self-talk, right?
Yeah, talk about it to your violence. So it's like, I'm worried about this and what if this happens and what if that happens? And it's that what if question that just keeps cycling, and I use the analogy of like a song that gets stuck in your head. Okay. It's never the whole song. It's just that little bit. It's just one little part. Yeah. And it just cycles over and over. And like a good example is if anyone's ever seen in Contents, we don't talk about Bruno,
Funny story. This weekend, for whatever reason, I couldn't remember anything else. I was like, why? We don't talk. No. Yeah. Like I was in pain. And my son, Aiden's like, Dad, like, no way. We're at a volleyball tournament with like high schoolers. Like, you can't do that, Dad.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just that one part.
That's right.
I said, well,
And so that gets on a loop, so that what if gets on a loop, just like we don't talk about Bruno, just goes on a loop. So how do you get, well, part of it is, okay, you could argue, finish the song, all right? And actually pull it up, listen to the song, look up the lyrics. What's it all saying? Okay. All of that is giving you information about what the song is actually saying. And when it's done, it's done. If something happens in the brain, there's a sense of completion there. All right. So the answer is not necessarily, okay, well, are you saying that I need to get more certain? No, that's not what I'm saying, because you're never going to have enough certainty. Okay. Can you have the 100% assurance that your kids are going to be safe at school? Your husband's going to be safe at work? No.
we're going to keep your job. I think that's a key point
Yes.
that I really like when I read the blog that you wrote. It was really good. Say more about that certainty versus uncertainty, what we look for, and really why the brain wants to capture that.
Yeah. So I think, we cycle that because we're wanting that assurance. Okay. That assurance is giving us strength to be able to move forward. If we don't have that assurance, it often paralyzes us. Okay. And I think I mentioned in the blog, I wanted to write a book for the longest time, but I dull because I don't have the assurance that it's going to be published.
Right.
I want that assurance that it's going to be published. I want assurance that my time is going to be invested in this. And if it's not worth it, then I don't want to have put in all these hours for nothing. I mean, that's the biggest fear.
I think we all have that at some level, right?
Yeah. And so, we're creating that certainty. I'm creating to know what's going to happen or how it's going to end. How often do we say, if I just know it, just won't know. Okay. Well, we can kind of trick our brains into giving a little bit. Okay. You may have heard in church or something like that, they say, okay, turn your what ifs into even ifs. Okay. Even if this bad thing were to happen, this is where I'm going to be. And so, and it sounds kind of cheesy, but it actually makes a difference. Okay. Because that what if, it ends in a question. Okay. The question creates uncertainty. As long as there's uncertainty, there's going to be anxiety. But as long as you're able to speak in that state, hey, even if this happened, I'm going to be, ends in a period, in a statement. That statement is concrete. There's nothing after that. A question demands an answer. If you don't have the answer, you're always going to ask the question. So you give yourself the question or give yourself the answer in that state.
Wow. And you said a lot today about, in a short amount of time, about we all do. I totally crave certainty. I love certainty because then you make decisions with confidence and faith. And I guess it's not faith if you have the certainty in advance, right?
That's right.
But we can't get that. So like perfectionism, we can try to get there and spend our whole lives trying to be perfect, but we'll never reach that goal. And then I think you also talked about, instead of the what ifs, living in the what ifs, do the even ifs. Even if this happens, which feels like my life, I'm living out of the even if. And we can still finish the sentence in our brain so it's not catastrophizing it, making it the worst thing. It's like, even if I do lose my job, I'm capable and I could find another. And I don't know where that's at, but I could find another. And you're giving your brain the mechanism to potentiate and look at different situations that it could achieve and work towards, instead of just all the wheels are off the bus and you're going to run into a wall and fall into the ocean. And then I think there was one more thing you said. What was it? About the story, the self-talk that we talk about. That is the most important story that we'll ever have, is the story we tell ourselves about what's happening, about ourselves. And then lastly, differentiating, like, what kind of anxiety is it? Anxiety that's within me from my past? Is it anxiety about what ifs? That's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So if you want more of this, you can go to our website, newvisioncounseling.org, find New Vision Counseling on YouTube. Or if you really want to jump in and work with one of us, like Dustin Walker or one of our team members, we would love to serve you as your counselor. You can go to newvisioncounseling.org or call us at 405-921-7776. We look forward to hearing from you soon.